Okay, let's just start with the sheer scale here. We're talking over 1 billion mobile subscribers in China.
1 billion.
Yeah.
And close to $200 billion in annual telecom revenue. It's huge.
Just massive. And right in the thick of it, you've got this company, Fingermotion, NASDAQ ticker FNGR.
Exactly. They're the focus for this deep dive today. A tech company, basically, focused on mobile payment and recharge solutions, mainly in China.
And for this, we've pulled together quite a bit. Info directly from Fingermotion, their investor relations, website, news releases.
Yep, plus financial news outlets like Yahoo Finance, MarketWatch, NASDAQ.
Robinhood, FinViz, CNN too, and then some market analysis from places like Stocks A Trade, Stock Titan, Argus Research.
Stock analysis, DCF modeling, even Perplexity AI, so a real mix of viewpoints.
Definitely. So our mission, really, is to figure out how Fingermotion actually operates in this, well, enormous and competitive market.
Yeah, what makes them tick, what's unique,
Yeah.
and what's their strategy for growth look like?
We just want to give you a clear, concise understanding of the company. So where do we start? What's the first thing that jumps out?
Well, I think it has to be their unique position. They're not really going head-to-head with every single app out there.
Okay. How so?
Their whole foundation, it rests on these exclusive licenses they've managed to get.
Exclusive licenses?
Yeah, from China Mobile and China Unicom.
Yeah.
The telecom giants over there.
Wow, okay. The big two. So with that billion-user market, that's got to be significant.
It's more than significant. It's fundamental.
Yeah.
These deals give them wholesale access to rechargeable minutes and mobile data.
Wholesale access, so not just retail.
Exactly, wholesale, which means potentially more flexibility on pricing, maybe bundling services in ways others can't.
Ah, okay. That could be a real edge in a market that's notoriously price-sensitive, right?
It absolutely could. It's a key differentiator, I think.
So it's not just about getting access, it's the type of access, a distinct pathway.
Precisely. And holding all this together is their own tech.
Right. You mentioned their tech. They built a proprietary platform.
We did. It's called the Pigeonhole Integration System, PIS for short.
PIS. Okay, catchy. What does it actually do?
Well, think of it as the central hub, the nervous system for their whole operation.
Okay.
It's built to handle all sorts of mobile transactions smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
Topping up your phone credit,
Activating data plans.
managing subscriptions, even redeeming loyalty points. The PIS is what makes it all work behind the scenes.
And it handles payments securely.
Crucially, yes.
Yeah.
Secure payments and also real-time reconciliation. That's vital when you're dealing with the kind of volume their partners have.
So it needs to be robust, scalable, reliable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just user convenience. It's
Yeah.
about providing a solid infrastructure for them and, importantly, for China, Mobile, and Unicom.
Got it. So a sophisticated kind of plumbing system for these essential mobile services, not just reselling minutes.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
But they're looking beyond just those core functions, too.
Yeah, I figured. They're not stopping there.
No, definitely broadening their horizons. They do advance SMS and MMS messaging services.
Okay.
But what's maybe more interesting is their rich communication services platform,
Yeah.
RCS.
RCS, right. That's like the next generation of SMS, isn't it? More interactive features, media.
Exactly. And Fingermotion is pushing this into different industries. Think insurance, finance, e-commerce, airlines.
How would they use it?
Well, imagine an insurance company sending interactive policy updates or a bank confirming transactions securely, maybe an e-commerce site showing rich product info.
Or airlines sending interactive boarding passes, maybe with live updates.
Precisely. It's all about creating, more engaging and reliable ways to communicate compared to just plain old text messages.
Okay, so from basic top-ups to these advanced communication tools, it definitely shows ambition. What's the big picture, their overall strategy?
Well, their stated goal is pretty ambitious. They want to organically grow an ecosystem serving over 1 billion users.
1 billion users, just within China initially.
Within China, yeah. But
Yeah.
the long-term vision seems broader, potentially replicating the model elsewhere.
And how do they plan to fuel that growth?
They're investing in what they call value-added technologies and cloud services, particularly for corporate customers.
Okay.
And this includes something called Sapientus, which is focused on big data analytics.
Ah, big data. So leveraging all the mobile data flowing through their systems.
That seems to be the idea. And this is where it could get really interesting, actually.
How so? What's the potential there?
Well, Sapientus could represent a shift for them, moving from just facilitating transactions to becoming a data intelligence provider.
Okay.
By analyzing all that mobile data anonymously, Presumably, they aim to spot user trends, figure out needs, maybe even predict them.
And that leads to new products, new
Yes.
partnership.
Exactly. Imagine offering tailored services based on real usage patterns, or identifying underserved niches within that massive user base.
That could unlock totally new revenue streams, giving them insights maybe even the big guys don't have direct access to in the same way.
Potentially, yes. It could be a very powerful asset if they execute it well.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's switch gears a bit. What about the financials? How are they actually doing?
Well, looking at early 2025 figures, they reported quarterly revenues around $8.5 million.
$8.5 million quarterly. Is that growing?
They have shown year-over-year growth in certain areas, specifically cloud services and also their command and communication platform.
Command and communication, what's that?
That's technology integrated into emergency response vehicles, so a bit of a different area.
Interesting diversification. What about profitability?
They have reported net losses recently. However, it's important to note they seem to have a strong working capital position.
Okay, so they have some cushion? And are investors noticing them?
It appears so. There's been some positive stock price movement recently, and they've been active at investor conferences, getting the story out there.
And the ticker again is FNGR on NASDAQ.
That's right, FNGR. Recent price we saw was around $2.72, putting their market cap somewhere around $93, $94 million.
Okay, and they're not a huge company in terms of headcount.
No, relatively lean. Around 64 employees listed, led by CEO Martin J. Shen.
So financials show some growth areas, decent working capital, attracting some investor interest. But let's be real, China's fintech and telecom space is brutal.
Oh, absolutely. You've got giants like Alipay, WeChat Pay dominating payments.
So how does a company like Fingermotion with roughly $90 million market cap even compete? How do they carve out their niche?
Yeah, that's the key question, isn't it? It seemed to come down to a few things. First, that deep integration we talked about.
With China Mobile and China Unicom, the exclusive licenses.
Exactly. That gives them market access the giants don't have in quite the same way. Second, they seem to focus heavily on secure transactions, mobile security. That's increasingly important.
Good point. And third,
the diversification. Moving into cloud services, that emergency response tech, it broadens their base beyond just competing directly on mobile payments where Alipay and WeChat are so dominant.
So those strategic partnerships are really their lifeline, giving them a unique channel, maybe better costs because of the wholesale deals.
It certainly looks like a foundational competitive edge, yes. It's not just about entry, it's about having a different operational model.
Right. So it's less about taking on the giants everywhere and more about leveraging those unique telecom ties and focusing on specific niches in tech.
That seems to be the strategy.
Yeah.
Playing to their strengths.
Okay, so if we had to boil all this down, what are the main takeaways for someone trying to understand Fingermotion?
All right, summary time. Fingermotion.
Yeah.
Tech-focused mobile services company operating the huge, complex Chinese market.
Check.
Those exclusive licenses with China Mobile and China Unicom, absolutely central, critical.
Yeah.
Core services, mobile payment, recharge, advanced messaging, all running on their own tech, the PIS platform.
Okay.
Growth plans, big ambitions, expand the user base, diversify services, especially cloud, and big data analytics with Sapientus.
Right, the data angle.
And finally, while it's super competitive, their unique telecom integration and tech capabilities give them an interesting potential.
Potential. Okay. So they're kind of working behind the scenes in this massive mobile world in China, armed with these special deals and their tech.
That's a good way to put it.
It does make you think, though. What are the big challenges, the hurdles they face trying to hit that billion-user goal?
Well, scalability is one. Can they actually handle that kind of rapid growth effectively?
Good question.
Then there's the regulatory environment in China. That can change quickly and really impact tech and finance companies. They need to navigate that carefully.
Always a factor there.
And while the partnerships are a strength, they also create some dependency, right? The terms of those deals, the health of those relationships, they're vital.
Vital for their long-term success and ability to keep innovating. Okay.
Lots to watch there.
Definitely. And it brings up a final thought. With mobile tech and digital payments just growing everywhere globally, what role could companies play? Companies that have these really strong regional partnerships like Fingermotion's telecom ties. Could that model, deep integration with local incumbents, be a blueprint for other markets, especially ones where you really need those local relationships to unlock growth?
That's a really interesting question. Could their approach be adapted elsewhere? Something to definitely ponder.